Similarities between online and traditional models. Feedback, incredibly important in both. You have to get those students to know when they're doing things wrong and get them back on track. Both are going to require hard work, time management. I'll get into more on time management for sure as we talk further into these models. Differences between them: online, huge asynchronous portion, a lot more freedom as a result. I think that's an advantage. It can also be a disadvantage depending on the learner. I'll get into a little bit more on that as well. Very, very little to no live interaction between students themselves and also the student and the teacher. Big difference there. Advantages of online learning. I think the biggest one is the flexibility. I wouldn't be able to do a postgraduate class because I have a family, I have a job. Online learning allows me to do that. Also, going down to the last bullet point, I wouldn't be able to attend Grand Canyon University in Phoenix out of Wisconsin if online learning wasn't a thing. Going back up to the second bullet point, students can't disrupt learning. There's no disruptions in class. Huge advantage. Social pressures have a lot of less of an impact. That's an advantage. A lot of students tend to struggle with that area. We also have all students have an equal opportunity rather than maybe some in the traditional setting, a few students really carrying that. Advantages of traditional learning: group work. A lot of students tend to flourish in those scenarios where they can kind of build off others' ideas. Big advantage. As a science instructor, learning can be more active and hands-on. I'm going to talk more about that later in this presentation. Teacher can give instant feedback. That's a big advantage. You got networking opportunities. Maybe that leads to a job in the future. Social interactions are very important in this world. Traditional learning, I believe, developed those a little bit better. Disadvantages are there too. Teacher has less of an impact on the learning in the online aspect. There's less of that social interactions, which I think are important. You have to have a lot of self-motivation and discipline in this online learning. Feedback can take longer, and there may be many distractions to learning at home. In the traditional, it's a lot less flexible. Schedules are strict, less opportunities for locations. Personality of the teacher has a huge impact. That can be good. It also can be bad depending on the teacher, how they interact with their students. Gifted learners are sometimes losing interest because they can't maybe move on in that traditional setting. Struggling learners are sometimes overlooked. And social interactions are going to play a huge role that leads to stressful opportunities, stressful things for a lot of students. Adult learning theories, applications. I think in the online learning, transformative learning fits really well. The students can be introspective, they can be reflective, the teacher can prompt that in discussions. Frame of reference is great for discussion posts, discourse. Again, really natural in the discussion forum. Autonomous thinking can really occur because you're not always surrounded by everybody else. Really good for online learning. Experiential learning. I mentioned as a science teacher, experiential learning, huge. Collaboration. Students can work hands-on, whether that be a model, a lab. Very important. Instructors can help with the reflection piece. Very important piece of experiential learning. Effective instruction. In online, you have to have a good discussion. You have to be active and engaging. That's a student. That's also the teacher. You have to be able to reflect. Instructors can monitor and steer as needed. Feedback, vital, obviously. Flexibility is a strength that has to be utilized. Reflection in the traditional setting, very, again, important. Feedback, still vital. Keeping students engaged and motivated, not letting a few carry the whole class. Classroom management becomes a large factor, keeping everybody in check. Transitions from one activity to another have to be well planned because you have a large amount of people moving. And group learning can be great if it's framed properly. These are my references. Have a great day.